Haven't been posting many videos last week because I've been actually quite busy, very busy with work, and we've had some good weather, so I've been just kind of going full tilt in the garden, doing my final cleanup and dead things that I'm removing, things that maybe I don't really want anymore. I've gone in and cleaned all my holly ferns. Everything back in here has all been cleaned. There's, big giant chain fern. Redid my rock wall. I actually got the rocks and just threw them down, and so I tried to make it a little bit better. Got the red banana in. There is a white ginger there. One of the plants that I decided to move, a small hosta. I've been splitting things up. These are a few of the things that I've dug up that weren't doing well in the spots they were, so they're going to find new homes. And generally, it's been my backyard is in my shady lower part of my yard, and it's been extremely wet, just covered. It's just like muck. So it's very hard to work back in here, and things are getting overgrown rapidly. So I've been going in and removing a lot. And actually, I've spent a lot of time rearranging, like, filling in holes, some things that died. I moved a few things around, things that were kind of been bugging me for a while. So yeah, like I cut these fuchsias back. They died right back to the ground, but they're coming back. But like I transplanted this is a giant blue hosta. I don't know what variety it is, but it's one of the big blue ones. I had two of them up here, and planting in twos, things always look weird, and it was right in this area, so it was really coming on the path, and every time I came down with my cart, I'd run it over. So we moved that guy, and when you move something, you inevitably have to remove something else. So brought in a few of my, I won't call them rejects, but this is my hardy bromeliad that the rabbits destroyed. It was in my front yard, and they ate the bejesus out of it. So it's been in a pot all winter. It's a nice spot on the hillside here for it. Soft caress mahonia, and I moved my pittosporum, one of my pittosporums. It was right here. And I'm trying to, because these rhodos are getting bigger, the path is getting narrower and narrower, so I'm actually pulling back the plants on this side. The phormium is coming back, so probably in a couple months it'll look good. I gotta move this guy. That's probably the last one I'm gonna move. Maybe put in a couple flowering salvias here, that sort of thing. But so this is one of my broadleaf evergreen gardens, and aside from that hosta, it is all, there isn't anything in here that is an evergreen. Well, I lie, there's a magnolia right here, but everything else you're looking at are all evergreen plants. We got the hellebores, the Lenten rose. I moved one of my soft caress mahonia. I bought some end of year, they were on sale, so I think I got them for 40 or 50% off, so I bought a couple and just threw them in the ground. Didn't like where I put them, so one's going here, one I think I have an idea of where it's going to go. Things are looking a little beat up still. A lot of these broadleaf evergreens, the wind really did damage on them, but as you can see, they're putting out a lot of new growth. This Fatahedra, there's the new growth. So what do we got in here? Fatahedra, Lizii, Pittosporum, Illusoides, Strappi, some sort of rhodo. This was the area where I had a giant Phormium New Zealand flax that I removed, and I ended up separating that and like each individual plant segment, and so I have about a dozen pots that I'm growing out. This is my Pittosporum tabira, tall and tough, and then we have this is a Cuba japonica, probably gold dust. I think this was a Home Depot special. So, oh, and there's also some tassel ferns in here, which are also evergreen. They're actually quite nice ferns. You can see the new growth on them. There's the older leaves, but the new growth. And then big Metapanax here. The sun's kind of blocking the view, but you can see it's rapidly pushing new growth. So a lot of this will look rejuvenated in no time. And what I was trying to do in here was mix up the the different leaf sizes and shapes to give contrast, because when you have plants beside one another that look quite different, they really actually set each other off. Whereas if you have a bunch of things that look the same, you just kind of see a green wall. So we got the nice big, rough, variegated, of the Aucuba. We got the sharp, spiny, bromeliad. These will grow long. This will almost turn into like a grass clump. Soft caress, Mahonia. It's nice, dainty foliage, and it's right up against that. And then the hellebore, totally different look to the leaves. Then we move up to a little bit more of a strappy sort of leaf again, more of an oblong shape, and then strappy again. So really trying to play. Oh, and then those ones back there are even bigger. And then we have, well, when the Phasahedras got normal leaves, they almost look like a maple leaf. So really trying to play on the different shapes and colors in here. And once this stuff recovers and puts on a little bit more growth this year, I think it's going to look really good. So the Phormium that was here was so big, it was 7 or 8 feet tall and encompassed this entire area. That's why that rhododendron's so weak looking, and why this side of the Metapanax doesn't really have any leaves. So, and the Pittosporum illusoides here was growing to the right, so I pruned it. It was actually coming up over the path, so I pruned it. So hopefully it will start to fill in that back section. So this will be more of a shady texture garden. And it kind of continues down here, but once we get down to that kind of jungly mess down there, that actually gets the hottest sun of the day. And as you can see, it is pretty jumbled up in there. I need to get in there and move a couple things, but that's what I've been up to. We'll profile a couple of new plants that I've been working on, or that I've purchased and I've planted. I actually filmed one, and for whatever reason it's missing. I went to produce that video today. Oh, and we also have the eucalyptus, that's yellow gum, and right here is the Fargesia robusta. So this will be a cool green corner. Sometimes I'll actually put a chair right up here and sit here in the late afternoon because the fence blocks the sun. And now that we're getting some height, it will look great. The pawpaws have not, as you can see, they are getting real close to flowering. Once these start to leaf out, that'll really help create the green canopy that you see. It's almost a little bit more like a tunnel when you walk down here. I like to obscure the view of the main yard. That's what the Phormium did until it got knocked back. Oh, I mean, I cut it back pretty aggressively, but that will eventually fill that space. And we also have a loquat. So what I'm trying to create here is just like a tunnel through the greenery, and then when you walk around, you'll enter the main part of the yard, and that will be the open sunny spot. So that's what I've been up to. More videos to come. Probably this week I'll be working on a number of things. The weather's not going to be quite as good. I have a project in the front yard that I plan on starting tomorrow, and I'll do that step by step. Just basically I'm going to be widening a garden bed and adding in more plants. Just to, the wider your beds, the more depth you have in them, the better your garden will look and more interesting, because you have more textures and you really get that lush look instead of just having skinny little beds. So as you can see, it's a nice day. I think we're predicted to be about 80 degrees today, somewhere around 80, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but right now it's quite warm. It's just about coming up on noon. Thanks for watching.